So Om Shanti, maybe a little bit more, Jasmine. Seems like. So balance in our lives and relationships. And so what I was thinking, we could start with a little bit of something with light. So imagine we've got some reporter from not BBC but BNN, which is Balance News Now. So imagine I'm not Egils, I'm from Balance News Now, from Yorkshire, from somewhere up north. Although I don't know how to speak in Yorkshire accent, but I'll try my best. And I've got the Balance News Now glasses. So good afternoon to all the participants of this news bulletin. And though this is Balance News Now, bringing you updates from the wobblier side of the modern life. So we are bringing news, updates from the wobblier side of this modern life. And today's headlines: balance, once thought to be an achievable human state, has now been officially downgraded to a nice idea. So, today's headlines: that balance, once thought to be an achievable human state, has now been officially downgraded to a nice idea. Something I'll get to eventually. So this eventually is always added, something we will get eventually, or simply it's gone. Reports confirm it was last seen somewhere between a cancelled Pilates class and a blinking email inbox. So that's where the balance was last seen, apparently. Somewhere between a cancelled Pilates class and a blinking email inbox. And a nationwide search is underway in the United Kingdom with mixed results, actually. One man tried to find balance through productivity apps, and you might have tried as well. I know some of my good friends have tried all kinds of productivity apps, but this man apparently now has 17 color-coded lists and mild heart palpitations along with all these colored lists. A woman in Sussex attempted mindfulness while on hold with her broadband provider. She experienced temporary transcendence, really deep experience, but followed by rage when the line dropped. Meanwhile, spiritual sources say balance can be found within. But most people are unsure which folder that's stored in. Maybe you have an idea in which folder it's stored in. They say it's somewhere within, but we don't know in which folder it's stored in. Scientists estimate that the average adult now switches between tasks every 47 seconds. Now, you might have less. You might switch between tasks every 10 seconds or 100 seconds, but the average is 47 seconds, which is also the current global attention span. Well, the best part of this today's bulletin is that the use of mobile phones has now overtaken face-to-face conversation, family dinners, and the ancient ritual of doing nothing. So there is no one you will find in the wide United Kingdom who does nothing. Maybe one person somewhere, but most people are staring at phones. One woman opened a meditation app, then got distracted by a notification to hydrate. Then she opened a wellness article, saw a cookie recipe, and spent the next 25 minutes wondering if coconut sugar was truly better than normal sugar. Well, this meditation app she downloaded was never opened again. And our field correspondent reports that humans are now juggling tasks, expectations, exercise, breath work, deadlines, and social grace with the elegance of a goose on a tightrope. And yet, despite our best efforts, the wobble continues, at least in the United Kingdom. But here is where the story turns. After years of tweaking, spinning, scheduling, and striving, experts have discovered the problem isn't what we are juggling. It's that we have lost the center. You see, a scale can only balance because of this axis, that small invisible center holding the weight on both sides. Rearranging the stones won't help if there is nothing holding them up. So here is the breaking news. The balance we are all searching for isn't found in the next great time management strategy. It's found in the moment between one breath and the next. In the space between reaction and response. In the quiet axis within that never moves, even when everything else does. And the weather forecast for the week ahead, there is movement expected on all sides. But at the center, stillness remains. So this has been Balance News Now. Stay tuned, or better yet, tune in. So let's explore that inner axis together, not just as an idea, but as a living experience. So welcome to today's talk, Balance in Our Lives and Relationships, delivered by the news agency Balance News Now. Om Shanti. So nice to see you all in Worthing, not in big numbers, but I guess as we heard from the Balance News Now, not many people have this experience of balance, and everyone is probably still somewhere out there looking for this balance. So what I wanted to explore is, what is the balance and what are we really after? And so if we look around in our lives, everything is always on the move. There is nothing in one place. You know, there are people, even now there is a little bit of silence. Some people are just sitting, but someone is just looking at something. You are also looking, probably thinking something. So there is no more, even silent. Even if we all sat silently, There is always some movement. At the same time, there is so much going on in the world. If you look around, there are people going, walking, cars are passing, someone is driving somewhere, so many people going, someone is on the street, someone is in the supermarket. We had just now a retreat, Untiring Soul, so people came, experienced this lovely weekend, and now, it all is all over, and some are already on the way back home. Some people still around, and someone has just come to help out here. So there is always some movement, something happening. In Ukraine, there is still some fighting going on. Putin in Moscow is planning something. Now in Israel and Iran, there is some missiles being shot across from one place to the other. The airlines are stopping to fly to Israel, and you can't get to there. So there is always something going on. And in a bigger perspective is the same. If you look around, we are on a small planet Earth. There are clouds going, there is a tide. I can't remember what is the high tide, but the tides are coming and going. When there is a tide coming in, and then the tide is going out. In the same way, we had, not recently, we had Christmas. It was winter time, it was cold and unpleasant. And now it's lovely springtime, almost, blooming of summer. Lovely flowers are blossoming everywhere. Nice strawberries you can buy, British grown strawberries. Lovely things, nice warm weather. People are sunbathing on the beach. Even on myself, I went for a lovely swim. It was nice and warm, 16 degrees in the sea. So everything is changing, everything is moving, nothing stays the same. And that's just in this little universe around us. But if you look around, the same things are happening everywhere. There are, big whales in oceans swimming somewhere. There are sharks. There are, octopuses, and there are coral reefs. I mean, there are billions and billions of fishes and all kinds of animals. There is forests, deep forests, and someone is cutting down the forests. Deforestation is happening. There are still some tribes living in deep forests, even in who have never really seen even normal modern life. So that's all happening at the same time as we are just sitting here and listening to this exploration about balance in our lives and relationships. But if we go further up around the planet, even we have moon circling around the Earth, and then the Earth is circling around the Sun. We have other planets in our solar system. There are some visible planets. They say there are also some invisible planets. And then the same, our solar system is within the Milky Way galaxy. So even within the galaxy, if you have studied a little bit of astrology or some astronomy, you would understand that, we are spinning in something bigger than just around the axis of this Earth. And not just around the sun, although there was times when people were thinking the Earth is flat. And if you told them the Earth is not flat, they would probably even, I think there were all kinds of things. If some scientist came up in ancient times that the Earth was actually round and spinning around the sun, they would persecute these people. So things are happening in all kinds of ways and shapes, and if you look further afield, even our Milky Way galaxy is part of some other bigger, clusters of galaxies and mega galaxies, and it's everything moving. So even if we are sitting still in this room, there is so much movement, we are involved, and this is never ending. This movement never ends. So in the same way, this lovely sunny day will come to the end the evening will come, the sun will go on that side, we know more or less, it will set, it will be maybe beautiful sunset, and then it will be nighttime, we will all go to bed and have some dreams, or someone might have nightmares, depends what you've been doing during the daytime and in your lifetime. So in a sense, what I'm trying to unpack is that there is no such thing as balance in life. There is no such thing as balance in this outer world. No matter how much you tried to rearrange everything in this world around you, you cannot make it into any balanced way in any shape or form. And in the same way, like we just looked at the different things happening, you know, physically, the tides and galaxies moving and everything is constantly, the weathers and the seasons are changing. You know, it's June, and I sometimes already, you know, joke in our business meetings that, well, we need to start planning for the Christmas party. And they say, oh, Christmas, I mean, that's pretty far away. But the thing is, it was only yesterday we had Christmas already. So things move really fast. If you look at the photos of, you might have some photo album from your childhood, where you were a little girl, maybe even a little boy or girl, little baby. I've got some photos where I was like a tiny, probably just born, maybe a few months old. Without anything on, like just come from the mother's hands. And it seemed like just yesterday, but now I'm already a big man sitting here with hardly any hair on my head and talking to you about this balance in life. But it's the same for any one of you. You were at some point in the past, you were a beautiful young woman with beautiful hair and nice figure and nice looking young teenager, going with all kinds of aspirations in your life and desires and dreams, and here you are, you know, maybe in your 50s, in your 60s, you know, and life is quite different to maybe what you were thinking when it was 30, 40, 50 years ago. So this is again something which to really think about, that balance, or something, I would say the idea of balance, of some kind of controlled situation of life, is just an illusion. There is nothing you can control, there is nothing you can balance in this life. And I wonder that you might probably didn't expect some kind of exploration of this topic from this perspective. But I will just share what I'm thinking about this whole concept, what I'm trying to explore. And it will make sense once we get to the other side of this concept. And in the same way as relationships, actually relationships, we can't really separate from lives. So balance in our lives and relationships, I would say it's balance, how to find this balance in our lives, because you can't separate life and relationships. It's all part of one package, because as a humans, unless you live by yourself somewhere in a cave in Himalayas, or move to some deep forest in Amazon by yourself, which I think there might be one or two people who are doing something like that, but even then you might have some relationship with nature, with some wild animals. So there is nothing we can escape from, any relationships. And we are born into families. You have mother and father who might have passed away. You might have sisters and brothers. You might have children, ex-husbands, ex-wives, all kinds of extensions and cousins. Everyone will have their own combinations of people surrounding you in your life, friends, colleagues, etc., etc. Now, all these relationships, just like these things in the universe, like these planets and asteroids and space debris flying everywhere, you know, everything is moving in a big shape and smaller shape, just like the tide in front of us is coming and going all the time. In the same way, these people in your life, they are also just like everything else in this wide universe. They are having their thinking, they are having their dreams, their desires, what they want from you, what they want to give to you, their love, their anger, their compassion. So all these things are happening. You can't control what's happening around you, neither physically. Try to control the tides, try to control the day, to stop the day stopping, to make sure that it all stops at the same time. You can't stop the planets from moving around the sun. You can't stop the galaxies from rotating. In the same way, you can't stop all the people in your life to do what they are doing. You can't. You might be lucky that you might have very loving relationship. You might have very loving husband, very nice, kind children, very nice neighbors or colleagues. Some might have opposite. You might have someone you wish they lived in Australia or something else. You don't get on with them. Maybe your husband or your children or someone is doing something which doesn't match the way you think how things should be around you. So, and we are all thinking how to achieve this balance, how to achieve this harmony, how to achieve this enjoyment of life. I guess the balance is something which we would translate as something we would enjoy life. So, because when you have something balanced, it always looks really beautiful, isn't it? And you have like that picture, I made this leaflet with that nice, like a plank with some 3-4 stones on one side and like a big stone on the other side. And it was all like balanced in the background of a beautiful seaside. It looks really wonderful, really pleasant, just the energy of that itself is so soothing. And in the same, sometimes you might have seen on some social media, some people are doing this stone balancing. They put stones in a different way, like big stone, small stone, but they are so masterful in balancing these stones. You wonder actually how on earth it actually stays like that. But it does, because there is an art of balancing. So now what I was thinking to explore a little bit, what is this balancing act? And like I mentioned at the end of this balance news now, the one thing which the research has found, that any balance can only occur when there is an axis on which to balance. You cannot have any balance in life or any harmony in life if there is no central axis on which you balance everything. And that's where everyone is getting completely messed up in life, because everyone is trying to rearrange these stones on each side of these scales. But no one is paying any attention about this central part, why in the first place these stones, the relationships, the health, the well-being, all the areas of people's lives are out in balance, out of harmony. Everyone, even in this very pleasant environment, United Kingdom, which has so much abundance. We sometimes complain. This is the prices go up. Trump has all these tariffs are going. The Brexit happened. The food is going up. The prices are higher, and the wages are going much lower. And the heating up with this Ukraine war, the costs of electricity, gas skyrocketed. So we are all complaining about all these things, but actually if you compare to many places on this planet Earth, this is like a paradise. If you went to some places in Africa or Asia where people hardly have anything, they have hardly any food, maybe even one meal a day. Now in this Gaza, we have heard a lot of, there is so much starvation, people even hardly have any food to eat. So I think from many angles, we live very, very comfortable lives, even if maybe it's not as luxurious as maybe it was in the past, but it's still pretty easy and very nice life. We have nice cars and nice buses and trains, and people are fairly kind and polite, and so no one is really, there is, I mean, in London you might have some, youngsters doing crazy things with knives. We hear sometimes in news, but in general, I think the overall country is quite pleasant and comfortable. Yet at the same time, there is a lot of suffering. Even in the United Kingdom, there is a lot of suffering of physical, health is deteriorating in many people, and mental health is really on a decline. People say the depression is on the rise. It's like an epidemic. Like when we had this COVID epidemic, then that's probably nothing in comparison to depression, this mental deterioration of mental state of people, which is really going downhill. And it's in spite of all these material, good things we have in life. So, and that's what is the most paradoxical thing, that actually is balance, this harmony in life has nothing to do with these stones on these all sides of these scales. No matter how much wealth or possessions or even the best people around we could give you, even if, let's say, you struggle with all your neighbors or maybe your husband or children, suddenly if I was some magician and I would just make some magic wand and all these people become really nice and kind to you, very easy, very loving to you, you have suddenly a palace in your back garden, beautiful foods and fridge full of stuff, and new Volkswagen or new Rolls Royce in your garage, everything whatever you could think of. Anyway, after some time, unless you find where is the center of this whole balance, you will still be miserable. That's why lots of people who have achieved everything in life, they have achieved, if you have heard stories of people who've been exploring the planet in the past, exploring the seas, sailing, doing all kinds of strange, very dangerous explorations. And at the end of these things, they commit suicides. Many of these people have committed suicides. And they achieved everything. They did so much. But one of the things which we have to really look into is what is the greatest exploration in general, in this whole wide universe. It's not the universe, it's not the exploration of these planets and going to Mars or Moon, or findings, or going into the depths of the ocean, or doing all kinds of external explorations. Actually, the most distant exploration, which everyone is as far as from the end of the whole of the universe, is their own being. The space which is the furthest away from everyone in this universe, of most human beings at this day and age, is the very being who they really are. And this is actually one of the deepest aspects which I find in my personal spiritual exploration, is that this is the most profound exploration you can find and explore. And once you start exploring this inner being, this inner silence, this space where all balance is actually, all this balance of everything else is resting on, is this inner axis of the inner consciousness, the consciousness who you all are. We might be thinking that you are a man and a woman, a English or young or old, with beautiful hair, or a little bit overweight or underweight, having all kinds of health problems or kidney issues or heart problems or diabetes or some mental problems. You are not anything of that at all. And that's what I find is the biggest journey of a lifetime, is actually to find the self, who we really are, and who is our creator. And this journey is the most interesting. And once you start exploring this inner space on which everything else is actually founded, even the whole wide universe has no meaning if there is no one aware of this universe. If we, like now you are all aware, like let's say if you are looking at me, listening what I'm talking, trying to compute what he's saying, you know, something is matching what you are thinking, something maybe seems a little bit unusual. But now if I let's say you didn't have a leg, you know, something happened to your leg and you didn't have a leg. You know, there is one man who was born without any limbs. He only has the body and the head. That's how he was born. There are quite a few people like that. So even like this, if let's say your body, arms disappeared, legs disappeared, but you are still watching, you are still listening. You agree, you could still listen, even if you didn't have the arms or legs, or obviously you would need heart, I guess. Without that you couldn't probably function. But now if I took away your consciousness, the one who is looking at me, the one who is thinking, if I took that away, what is there left? There's nothing. We call it a corpse. So that's why this aspect of consciousness is so primary, that everyone is looking for some balance and harmony and joy somewhere in external things, which it doesn't exist. All of these external things, including your body, does not belong to you. You think this body is your body. No, I mean, how much it's your body? If it was your body, you would be able to retain this body forever. But unfortunately, we will all have to depart from this lovely costume at some point. And you don't know even when. You might not even see tonight. I'm not joking. We don't know anything. We don't know whether you will see tomorrow morning. No one is assured of that. You don't know if you see Christmas or a year after. So the consciousness is the only thing which is beyond all of this. And this is the most interesting aspect what we are teaching in this Brahma Kumari's meditation practice, is to understand that you are not this physical body, this bundle of blood and pus and all kinds of atoms and, you know, organs we all have. We are the consciousness which is enjoying this physical world using this body. And this is the most profound experience when you start exploring this inner space, this inner experience, who we really are. And that's where you will find that the more you learn to find this space, this internal axis, the more you will see everything as something which is not actually affecting you. Because the soul, the consciousness, cannot be burnt, you cannot be destroyed, you are not dying, you've never been born. So this experience of inner consciousness, of the space who we really are, is so profound that when you start experiencing that part of the self who we really are, beyond these costumes of all these shapes and forms and nationalities and age and gender, that's where I find that balance in life starts appearing without even doing anything. You don't need to do anything to achieve harmony in life. the harmony starts actually realigning in front of you. And this is quite miraculous. And I just say, in my personal experience, is that I've been on this path since 91. So it's quite a long time. I was only 19-year old, and now I'm 54. And I would say it's been only the last half a year since I feel more and more interesting experiences on this path. But obviously everything leads to where we are now. So it's not that what I did 10, 20 years ago has no meaning. Everything leads to where we are now, and where you are now has led where you were 5 years ago, where you were yesterday. And what you are going to do now will determine where you will go tomorrow and day after tomorrow. So that's why we are all, seems the same. We have 2 arms and 2 legs, and we all have, 2 eyes, and we all have lungs and heart, but everyone gets something different in life. Someone might have a lot of wealth and possessions and still they are miserable, and someone might have less but very, very happy and content. Because it's actually nothing to do with these external things, how you feel in life. And sometimes, people who live in poor countries, they want to come to the United Kingdom or Europe. But actually, their misery is not to do anything with this place where they live. Because as you said, there are lots of miserable people in the United Kingdom. There are lots of poverty in United States. So it all depends what's happening in this inner exploration of the soul. And so that's what I want, as I wanted to explore just a little bit of as a exploration to show that actually this balance is only hidden in this very, very center of the universe. It's like, that tornadoes can, there is no physical element like steel or anything in a tornado. It's basically air. But because it's moving in such an extremely fast speed, it can cut through steel buildings. It can, make so much damage. I mean, you might have seen sometimes tornadoes, after tornadoes, the cities. However, at the very, very center of this tornado, there is complete stillness. There is complete stillness. It's like the eye of the storm. At the same time, everything in this whole universe is revolving around something, around this still center. The galaxies are moving around some still center. Everything is moving. Earth is moving, but there is a still center which never really moves. It's always still. The same mega galaxies, the whole universe probably is also moving in a big, maybe there are several universes, we have no idea, but everything is moving around some still center. And in the same way, our consciousness, our life, is like everything is just revolving around something. But if you understand that inside this deep space of consciousness, inside the self, who we really, really are for eternity, not just now, but we used to be and we will always be, is this deep, deep silence, stillness and peace and harmony. It's always there. So that's why to find this balance and harmony in life is not to try to rearrange something, to have some apps or to try to explore some new things. It's to explore who you really are. And so that's where I find is the biggest magic, the mysticism of life, which brings so much fulfillment. And this inner space of this deep, deep silence and stillness is so profoundly fulfilling that you don't need anything from external sources to feel. I mean, in English probably there is no such expression, but in Sanskrit there is a name for that, is Atindriya Sukh. And Atindriya Sukh is, if you translate, it's the bliss beyond the senses. It's not the blissful state which, let's say, people win a lottery or something, you know, get happy, a new Rolls Royce someone gave you as a gift. It's not that. It's completely beyond anything physical, and it's so fulfilling that you are floating like in seventh heaven. As I say, it's very difficult to explain it, but it's something which is not, and it's not the experience which you only have at times. You actually, once you are in this field, this zone, you know, sometimes they say that even the sports, the athletes, they get into the zone and they become like invincible. They just win because they get into this flow which is beyond human. It's like you become like this Superman. But we all are these supermen and superwomen if we find this inner flow inside, which is so, so beautiful. It does not need anything. You don't need any applause from anyone. You don't need any recognition from anyone. You don't need any love to be given to you from anyone, because it's already inside. All you can do is just radiate it, enjoy, and be part of the human family. And that's the most beautiful experience I find, where all these crazy things of life, which is always like, seems like meteorites and debris of the space, all kinds of things happening, they actually are not doing any harm whatsoever to us. And actually these things which are appearing in front of us in our life start changing. And you know, sometimes people say, oh, you are, this law of attraction, or you are attracting this and that, you are attracting wealth, or you are attracting good fortune. No, you don't attract anything. All you do is just be who you really are, and life will give you whatever you need. That's my experience. I've had like last few weeks I went shopping, and there was like I've never had shopping receipts like from the ceiling to the floor, and I was laughing. I mean, it was like all organic, all kinds of very, very unique products for pennies, and the receipt was coming out like some kind of scrolls from a universe. And when I did it the first time, it was on 22nd of May. I shared this story to someone, and she said, oh yeah, that 22nd of May, because it's 2-2, it's special in astrology or astronomy, it's some 2-2, and it was Thursday, so yeah, because Thursday is something, it's like a table with 4 legs, 2-2, and so she said, yeah, that's because of this. Now the next Thursday I had the same. My receipt was even longer. I can show you. I mean, if I can bring you next time, I can bring you these receipts. I will make them as some kind of memory for these events. And then the following week, it was not Thursday, it was Wednesday, and there was another crazy scroll of the universe coming out. And then just the last week, we ran out of this Demerara sugar, which normally I buy from Best Way Cash and Carry in Brighton, and they have good price usually for that sugar. But there are 2 varieties. One is a silver spoon, which is basically white sugar mixed with some molasses. But there is one very, very good quality, which is quite Tate and Lyle, which is genuine Demerara sugar from Belize. And so, I mean, we just needed this Demerara sugar. So I went to this Best Way Cash and Carry. I went in just to grab a couple of sacks, and here we are. They had Tate and Lyle, this genuine Demerara sugar packed in Belize for a clearance price from £47 to £30. Okay. Thank you. I mean, you can say I'm manifesting something. I'm not manifesting anything. But what I'm saying, when you start aligning with your inner axis of your inner stillness and silence, if things need to come to you, they come to you. You're not trying anything hard. Your people, even people around you, they become more kind to you. They become more soft to you. All the edges and hard things in your life start dissolving. So that's just my personal experience of how beneficial is meditation and experience of this soul consciousness, which we teach in the meditation course, which we suggest anyone to learn and practice daily. And so maybe I've probably spoken a little bit too long than planned, but if you want, we could do a little meditation for 5 minutes, and I don't know if anyone has any questions afterwards, because actually the meditation practice is the magic. That's the magic of your life. That's why I find the more you find time, and it doesn't have to be for a lot long. You know, you don't think that, oh, I can't sit for an hour or 2 or 3, 5 minutes. If you sit in meditation 3 minutes in the morning when you get up, just experience this inner stillness, inner silence. And if you have time during the daytime sometimes as well, and definitely before you go to bed, if you can experience a little bit of that inner axis, that inner consciousness when you go to sleep, you will start noticing magic unfolding in front of your eyes, like magic coming out of this, rabbit coming out of the magician's hat. And anyone, you don't have to be a magician for magic to happen in your life. Magic is actually part of life, in a good sense. I'm not talking about some kind of voodoo and strange things. The magic as a goodness manifesting in front of your eyes, and life is just wonderful and beautiful. So, Om Shanti, I hope it was to some extent useful, what I shared, and maybe we can just have a little meditation together now. So, Om Shanti. So we can either close our eyes or keep the eyes open, whichever way you feel more comfortable. And relax your whole body. Relax your face. Relax your forehead. Relax your arms and legs. Relax your stomach, all the muscles of the stomach. And let's observe for a few moments we can hear different noises, seagulls making some noise outside, and some cars passing outside. And let's observe our breath. Our heart is beating nicely, gently. And you might have some thoughts in your mind. Just observe whatever is there. But just like all these noises which we can hear outside, all our thoughts inside is just like any other noise outside. It could be a lot of fear, anxiety, maybe some wasteful thoughts. Whatever is there, whatever has happened in your life, whatever is going on maybe with your friends or relatives or children, just observe. You don't need to do anything about it. Just observe. And the main experience is that we can feel that there is deep, deep silence and stillness behind all of these things, behind all of these thoughts, which are like noise, like clouds, like wind. There is deep, deep silence and stillness inside. It's very deep stillness, silence, and vast, vast spaciousness. The space which is vaster than the whole of the universe. There is so much of space and freedom that we can fly like eagles in the sky. I've been to Himalayas and I have seen eagles flying high above the mountains. This is the experience inside, how free we can be, no matter how much suspense and noise and wind and storms are happening outside. This is the most beautiful experience of life. It is a real freedom. It is the freedom of complete balance and harmony in life. But I have to learn to return to this space and place as much as I can. That's why if we can practice this experience early in the morning, when I wake up, and especially also when we go to bed, to remember that we are greater than what we can see. Our being, our inner self is so magnificent, so rich, so much wealth of everything. We are very, very profoundly wealthy inside. There is nothing lacking inside us. And when you go to bed, when you try to fall asleep, you can have this affirmation that let's walk softly, because we are already in the answer. There is nothing we need to find, to understand. It's all already within us. If only we can find the self, this inner axis, this inner stillness and inner silence, and this vast, vast spaciousness. That's when we become like flying eagles in the sky, free, happy, fulfilled, able to help anyone who needs any help. Om Shanti.
Thank you very much, Egils. And now we're open for questions. If anybody has a question to put to Egils, either in the house here or online, let us know if you have a question.
No questions. Good.
Okay, and there's no questions on chat.
So either it was too clear or completely unclear. The two options. Yeah. But anyway, thanks for coming.
Very clear.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
thank you very much, Egils. I felt I went on a journey from the superficial right into the sort of ultimate point. So thank you very much.
It's actually not just cookery, but it will be very interesting. I don't want to tell you more, but it will be very, very interesting.
Yeah, there we are. It's good that you can tell us a bit. Yeah. And then on Tuesday,
Thank you. Om Shanti.